Welcome back to another weekly video, and in this week's episode we're talking about High Water Coliseum, and we're breaking it down in more of a classroom type of setting. And the reason why I'm saying a classroom setting is I want this video to not replace using a guide or having someone who is your friend that's taking you down the river that knows the flows and knows your skills and has the beta to give you a good experience your first time down the main channel at these flows. The thing that you have to consider is the river is at flood stage, and what that means is there is water running through the trees. So if you do have an out-of-boat experience, getting to the side of the river, emptying the boat, and finishing the swim is not ideal for you or for your crew. So please don't let this video do anything other than give you more information. Please don't let it replace or try to replace using a guide or using a paddling friend that does know the river at these flows. All right, so I've got my disclaimer out of the way. Let's actually break down the High Water Coliseum line. Classroom mode engaged. All right, we're looking top down at High Water Coliseum. And before we get started on the line breakdown, what we need to do first is kind of highlight a few points of interest. And number one, we've got the white-faced monster up here at the top. Number two, we have what becomes the gladiator wave at lower flows. Number three, we have our observation deck and eddy on river left at the bottom. And then number four, we have the ledge. And at these flows, it's kind of a crashing wave hole, but as the water drops, it becomes more and more of a concern because it becomes a hole. Now, before we start breaking down the different lines, one thing that should be gone over again is the water is quite high. And one of the things that happens when you put a lot of volume into more constricted areas like Coliseum is you have a lot of boils and you have a lot of building and falling of waves and boils, and it's just churning and moving. There's a lot of surging that happens. And with that, it can be somewhat unpredictable. And the first unpredictable feature that we have to talk about when we're talking about breaking down the line at High Water Coliseum is this boil up at the top of the rapid. This boil is coming up, and it can move you 4 or 5, 6 feet left or right depending on where you are on the boil. Ideally, we're always trying to line up to hit the tongue, and so we're going to go ahead and highlight the tongue here of the white-faced monster. And you'll notice that the boil kind of lines up right over top of it. And so the basic line that most people run their first time as they run High Water Coliseum is a line that's moving right to left through the tongue and continues left down to the river left eddy below the observation deck. The reason why we want to be moving right to left against the tongue or through the tongue is so we can actually climb over that boil and it doesn't possibly or potentially push us to the right into the white-faced monster. That's the thing that we're trying to avoid. Now, as you make your way through the tongue, just continue to hold that river left angle and continue driving your boat with big, powerful forward strokes, keeping your body posture forward. And as the water surges, sometimes what looks like a very mundane wave in front of you will become this very big crashing feature and cause you to flip. The other thing that can happen are these boils or surges will surge up right in front of you, and you just have to keep driving over top of them, keep working through them instead of stopping and spinning out. That's kind of the ideal line for your first or second time down High Water Coliseum. Now, if you're looking to make it bigger and a little bit harder, you have the option once you come through the tongue to turn and move your boat left to right through the rapid. And as you work through the rapid, you're going to find yourself in bigger, more aggressive waves, and some of those waves are going to be feeling a little bit on the mountain-like side. And it's a lot of fun over there, but you'll end up going through what becomes the gladiator wave, and as you work your way right through the waves, Expect them to build and fall and crash and surge all around you. Be aggressive, stay forward. Continue driving your boat with big forward strokes all the way to the river right-hand side. And you'll end up to the right of what's called the ledge over in what we refer to as Dog's Leg at the bottom of the rapid. As you kind of work your way through this progression, though, the thing that you have to remember is sometimes the water is just way more powerful than we are. And sometimes we don't hit the line exactly how we want to. The thing that you have to have in your mind is if you're trying to move left as you go through the tongue and you come through the tongue and it doesn't work out exactly how you want to, and all of a sudden you're getting pushed right, turn and go right. Don't fight the boat, work with it. If same thing can be said the opposite way. If you came out of the tongue and your idea had been to go right, but you're getting shoved really hard left, just go left. That's the basic beta that I give most people after I talk about the line and how we're going to line up for the tongue. But once you're through the tongue, if you're getting pushed right, go right. If you're getting pushed left, go left. Don't fight with the river. Because certainly as the water continues to drop below these flows, the ledge becomes more and more of a concern as it becomes more hole-like. I want to give you one more little bit of bonus information as we're looking at these beautiful visuals of the river. And last week's episode, there was this awesome kickflip that Benny threw, and I'm going to show it again here just because it's awesome. So please bask in Benny's majesty. But the reason why this kickflip, number one, got the reaction that it did was not necessarily the size or the height that it got, because we've all seen Benny go that big before, but it's the high consequence maneuver that he pulled off. On the river right-hand side, right here on the white-faced monster, that part of the wave is really curling hard left, and it's building and falling pretty aggressively. It's surging really aggressively. And if Benny had gone up the face of that wave and caught a really bad crash or a weird surge, there's a good chance he would have gone for a big surf in whiteface. And that was what got that reaction out of me and John and Harley as we were watching, is because none of us really want to be in right side whiteface, and he absolutely aced it and just totally styled the move. So that was a total bonus for us. But I did want to break that down as well, because if you watch the video and you're not familiar with Highwater Coliseum, you might not understand how high consequence or, risky that move might have been. Isn't that the cutest driver you've ever seen? Hi. This is Ron, and Ron wants you to leave me comments down below if you have any feedback for me. And if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so, because I'm going to be making fresh content every week. And last but not least, I want to say thank you to those of you who actually reached out to me this past week and asked for a breakdown of Highwater Coliseum. This was a lot of fun and a very different video to make, so I appreciate the influence and the suggestions for this video, because this was definitely not what I was going to make this week. So thanks for that, and if you have ideas for me in the future, please consider leaving those in the comments down below or sending me messages via Instagram or Facebook, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.